So I grew up in a ministry home, ministry family, and I was so blessed. I had a wonderful childhood. I was able to travel a lot and just grew up loving Jesus. I had the opportunity of studying at Hillsong College in Australia, and during my second year there, I got a job in the hospitality industry, and I really stood out there for my standards, for my beliefs and convictions, and I began taking on a lot of persecution. I was like a beacon of purity. I was very innocent, and I began to feel like I had to prove myself and kind of be more relatable was really the lie that I started feeling. I had to relate to them in order to witness to them, for them to hear me. So I began to really bend the rules, and it ultimately led to a lot of compromise in my life, and I just began allowing lies to really reshape my identity and my reality. I would live in the light, and I was accountable, and I was doing well, and then temptation would come, and honestly, I began even noticing it when it would come. It usually came in the form of a drink, of whiskey, of all things. When I saw these triggers coming my way, I couldn't say no, I couldn't resist, and I started drifting away from my family and my closest friends. Honestly, I thought I was living the life I deserved. I thought sin was really in my DNA and I couldn't escape it. Half of my life was in the dark, and I was just straddling the fence, but I couldn't fully enjoy the world. I couldn't sleep around, I couldn't party, I couldn't get drunk. So fast forward to the spring of 2016, I was now living in Georgia. I had moved there with my family, and I was working in another restaurant, and temptation came again. I started hanging out with a guy who didn't even know or love Jesus. I thought everything that I was doing in private was harmless, but it was about to be exposed as I had miraculously conceived. I felt terrified. I felt alone. I was given a piece of paper, and at the very top it said due date January 14. And I just remember screaming, "Due date!" And the whole lobby looked at me, and I went into complete shock. I honestly don't remember anything for probably about 5 minutes. Somehow I ended up out of the office, down the hall, down the elevator a few stories. I was outside and on the curb, literally hyperventilating, having my first of what was to be many panic attacks that year, just in complete shock. So when I did finally come home to everyone and face them, I remember the door opening, and it was my brother, and he just hugged me. And I remember being told by my mom, "This child is a gift, and it is completely innocent. And we're going to love this baby, and it is a part of the family now." I feel like I spent half my pregnancy on my knees at the altar of my church, with pastors surrounding me, praying for me, and supporting me. I was forming a pattern of straying from Jesus as my shepherd. And the first chance I gave him, he had to lovingly break my legs with his comforting rod through the exposure of the pregnancy. Then he carried me on his shoulders, anointed my legs with oil the whole time until I was healed, and he put me down and said, "It's time to go at my pace." So God really turned all those lies around for me. I suddenly knew that I'm not replaceable. I'm not in a rush, and my life is not on hold. After he was born, I still thought I was a single mother and a mother because of my own poor decisions and choices. Then God revealed to me how sin never leads to a blessing. It only multiplies and reproduces itself. The consequence of my sin were the shame and the guilt, hurting my reputation, hurting my family. But my son, he is my redemption. God saved my life by bringing me this perfect gift, and that is my son. I would encourage anybody who's going through a trial similar to mine to read scripture over yourself out loud every day. Fall on your knees. I am nothing but grateful at the mercy of Jesus, and I celebrate this child and the privilege it is of calling him mine. I'll never forget when my dad told me, though your journey has changed, your destiny hasn't. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Hi, I'm Abbi Tait. I'm 26 years old. I have a 2-year-old son, and this is my story.